What if I told you that saving your first $1,000 is genuinely harder than saving your first $100,000? Not slightly harder, dramatically, almost unfairly harder. And this isn't motivation talk, it's mathematics and psychology working against you at the same time, which is exactly why most people never build any real wealth at all. My name's Nick, and I help everyday people understand how money actually grows. If that's something you want to understand, hit subscribe and give this video a thumbs up if it helps you see things differently. Here's something that will stop you in your tracks. The average American has less than $1,000 in savings. Not invested, not in a retirement account, less than $1,000 total. That means more than half the people in this country are one car repair, one medical bill, one bad month away from complete financial chaos. And many of them have decent jobs, college degrees, and what looks from the outside like a comfortable life. Streaming subscriptions, newer phones, car payments. But underneath all of that, they are financially fragile in a way that would shock most of their friends.
So why is that first $1,000 so brutally difficult? And why does $100,000 become almost inevitable once you understand what's actually happening? When you're starting from zero, every single dollar you save requires an equal and opposite effort from you. You earn it, you set it aside, you resist spending it. Every dollar in that account represents a direct sacrifice. Time traded, temptation resisted. The account grows only as fast as your willpower allows it to. This is why the first $1,000 feels almost impossible, because in this phase, you are the only engine. Everything depends on you showing up and making the right call every single time. But the moment you cross certain thresholds, something fundamental changes. Your money stops being just money and starts becoming a partner in the process. A partner that never takes a day off and never spends anything it doesn't need to. Here's where the math gets interesting. When you have $1,000 invested, growing at 8% annually, a reasonable long-term average for a diversified stock market portfolio, you earn $80 over the course of a year. $80. That's not nothing, but it doesn't feel like anything either. It doesn't feel like your money is working for you.
Now push that to $10,000. Same 8% return, same investments, but now you're generating $800 in a single year without lifting a finger. Push it to $50,000 and your investments are producing $4,000 per year on autopilot. That's over $300 every single month flowing into your account while you sleep, while you work, while you're living your life. And at $100,000, you're looking at $8,000 per year from compound growth alone. Nearly $700 every month generated purely from money that is working on your behalf. At this point, you are no longer the only engine in the room. You have a second engine running alongside you, and it gets more powerful every single month. This is why the journey from $0 to $1,000 feels nothing like the journey from $90,000 to $100,000. The math is working against you at the start and aggressively in your favor by the end.
But here's what most people completely miss. The real shift happens much earlier than $100,000. It happens right at that first $1,000. And the reason is psychological, not mathematical. When you have nothing saved, your brain operates in survival mode. Every financial decision gets filtered through fear and scarcity. You take the first job offer because you can't afford to wait. You stay in situations you hate because leaving feels too risky. Research shows that financial stress consumes mental bandwidth the same way any urgent high-stakes problem does. Your brain is constantly running background calculations. Can I afford this? What if something goes wrong? How close am I to the edge? That mental overhead makes it genuinely harder to think strategically about anything else, including how to improve your situation. But something shifts when you cross that first threshold. The background noise starts to quiet. Instead of asking, how do I survive until next paycheck, you start asking, how do I grow what I have? Instead of dreading unexpected expenses, you start seeing them as inconveniences rather than emergencies. Your brain has space to think about opportunity instead of just threat. This is the real reason the first $1,000 is harder than the first $100,000.
It's not just that the math is working against you, it's that your brain is working against you in ways you probably aren't even aware of, and the only way out is through. Here's what it actually takes to save $1,000 from scratch. You have to track where your money goes with enough awareness to find the gaps. You have to say no to things you wanted. You have to resist the pull of a culture that treats spending like a reward and saving like a punishment. And then you have to keep it saved, which is its own challenge entirely. The people who do this successfully prove something to themselves that no financial advice can give them. They prove they are someone who can do this, not someday, right now, with their actual income and their actual life. That identity shift changes every financial decision that follows. Before $1,000 saved, every dollar feels precious and every purchase feels like a negotiation. After $1,000 saved, you stop sweating the small stuff and start thinking strategically about the decisions that actually move the needle. Where you live, what you drive, how much you invest. Those are the choices that swing your net worth by tens of thousands of dollars over time, not whether you bought the name brand cereal.
And your career changes too. When you have nothing saved, you are essentially trapped in whatever job you currently have. You can't ask for the raise because you're afraid of the consequence. You can't explore other opportunities because taking time off for interviews feels too risky. You are negotiating from desperation, and everyone in that room can feel it. But $1,000 changes the dynamic. You have what I call walking away money. Not enough to retire on, but enough to breathe. Enough that you stop making decisions from a place of pure fear. And that confidence, even when you never use the money, changes how you show up. You become more assertive, more willing to push back, more willing to bet on yourself. And that shift tends to accelerate everything else. Here's the final thing I want you to understand. The goal of saving your first $1,000 was never really about the $1,000. It was about proving to yourself that you can delay gratification when it matters, that you can build a habit and protect it, that you are the kind of person who makes intentional choices about money instead of reactive ones. Because that person, the one who saved and protected that first $1,000, is exactly the kind of person who eventually has $100,000, and then more. The first $1,000 is harder than the first $100,000, but it is also what makes everything after it possible. Start there, protect it, and let the math take over from there.